head is killing me. Hi guys, it is February the 28th. It is a Thursday. It is the day before the 9 weeks test. Basically, this 9 weeks test, this is the last part of it, meaning the ratios and rate stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and record for the fun of, I can't hear anything, so I might as well get it done if you get my drift. Okay, so last night was Wednesday night, and this was, let's see, ratio and rate review. Okay, so starting out, the very first 5. So let's just look at the first 5. Okay, we wrote the ratio the way it is, such as like 15 girls to 25 boys. And then all you got to do is simplify it. Just simplify it. So check your answer. You have 3 girls to 5 students, 2 striped ties to 5 total ties, 8 golden retrievers to 15 total dogs, I guess is what you call it, and then 1 red marble to 5 total marbles. Now, on number 5, guys, you are supposed to be comparing, find the ratio of bananas to the total number of pieces of fruit. Okay, so there are 4 numbers in here, and you got to find all 4. I'll be honest, a few of y'all missed this question on the test, like back when we took it, because you just didn't look for all the numbers. You didn't notice all the numbers. Okay, so let me just kind of show you. There is the number 2, the number 4, the number 9, and the number 8. Okay, so bananas is on top, which is 4, but the total is 23. And on the test, good people put the wrong number. It's like you forgot the 8 or whatever. Now, this was a tricker because really, that is the only ratio you can do. You can't simplify it. It's just a mistake on my part, honestly. When I changed all the numbers, I just didn't make it simplifiable. Okay? So, everybody good on that one? Okay, so the next part. Writing a rate is a unit rate. So the key is on this part. If you are doing a unit rate, you are finding out how much is 1. So if you'll notice on that right side, I got how much is 1 for each answer. Okay. So number 6 is 22 points to 1/4. Number 7, 5 feet to 1 second. Number 8, 4 pieces of candy to 1 child. Oh, I know what I did, and y'all, I see what I did now. What did I do different on this one? I put 2 instead of 20. I was just sitting here thinking, I was like, that's not what the kids asked me yesterday. Look right here. This said 20 children. So 8 pieces of candy to 20 kids is, what is it?
0.4.
0.4? Okay. Well, I can kind of change that one kind of easy. I'll tell you, I always say all the time, I make mistakes. 0.4. So all that means is that each kid doesn't even get a whole piece. To be honest, each kid doesn't even get a full half of a piece, because 0.4 is not even 0.5. It's not even half. Okay, kind of weird, but it can happen in ratio world, or rate world. Okay, $27. Remember, money always goes on top. 9 tomatoes. That makes it $3 a tomato. 10 miles for 3 hours. So this is a weird one. When you divide 10 divided by 3, it's 3.3 repeating. 3.333 forever. So I just shortened it to 3.3 repeating. And then 55 logs for 5 trucks. That means 11 logs for 1 truck. Any questions on that section? Like,
Whenever we're doing like any of this on the test, we get a repeating. Like, would we get points taken off if we did do a repeating one?
not officially, because honestly, it's A, B, C, or D. So, with this test tomorrow, luckily it's 18 questions, all A, B, C, or D. So if you're getting something that doesn't match, I mean, luckily, kind of try it again, all right? So, okay, on the next part, this is what I need you to look at, because when you're comparing two equivalent or two ratios, what we need you to compare, like when I graded your test, I know it's been a couple weeks, but when I graded it, I looked for this. Did you give me $4 for one bracelet on that side? Then did you give me $4 for one bracelet on that side? Then I tried, I looked for the yes or no. So on this one, did you get 60 calories for one serving? Then on this one, 72 for one, and then no. Okay.
I did get 72, and I still got
5 times 7 is 35. There'd be 10. That's
I got like 6.
something's wrong then. It should be. Did you do 5 or 0.5?
0.5.
That's why. It's just supposed to be 5 servings. It looks like a 0.5, but it's supposed to be 5 servings, not 0.5. That's okay.
I didn't do
You did. Well, 360 divided by 5. It's 72. Okay, just check it. Okay, on this one, you should be checking for what I'm going to call 6 words in 1 hour. So 3 words in 1 hour. Definitely not the same. Okay. This question on the test was like one of the last ones, and when we took the test, and a few of you missed it. Y'all, I need you to start seeing something. Please look. Okay. If you are seeing money on this side, like $15, when you go to make this, yes, it's 7.5. I mean, on the calculator it says 7.5. Think about it as money, though, because 7.5 is 750. Okay? This side, 750. So they are even. On the actual test we gave, if I'm remembering correctly, I think it was like 750 and the other side was like 6.75 or 6.5. I mean, $6. So, money. Keep thinking money on that one. Okay, any questions on equivalency? Okay, on the back, these are the weird ones. Some are easier than others, so let's look. Okay, here we go. On number 16, the way I did it was I saw to get from a 1 to a 4, I'm going to use times 4. So can I do 8 times 4? And then on the top, your final answer should be 32. That one was kind of easy, pretty much laid out for you. Everybody good on that one? Okay. The next one. This is one that throughout the day I tried to start kind of giving some hints. Each class a little different, okay? So I asked them to put money on top, packs of juice on bottom. So it's $48 for 10 packs. On this one, what they're wanting is how much is 8 packs. Okay, now I had to. There was no other way to do this. I had to bring it down to a unit rate. So I said, well, if 48 for 10, how much is 1? Well, it made it $4.80 for 1 pack. So then, to get 8 packs, I would multiply it times 8. So I just went from the 1 to the 8. I did times 8. I did $4.80 times 8. And your final answer should be $38.40 for 8 packs. I find it interesting. Some of y'all haven't looked down yet. It's scaring me. Okay, number 18. Very odd. I had to kind of... You can do it different ways. You could find a unit rate. Okay. What I did is I tried to get a 4 in the middle because I realized that a 16 and a 12 can get a 4. So I did 16 divided by 4 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. And I could do it on the bottom. It really doesn't matter how you did it as long as you got a 24. So let me show you one other way. Give me just a second. So let's say you did unit rate. Okay, you got 16 and 32. But let's say you find out how much is 1. Whoops. My 1 needs to be up here on this one, though. Does that make sense? So 32 divided by 16 is what? This is what happens when I video and try something different. Oh, wait a minute. Should my 1 be on top or on the bottom? Bottom. I don't know why I started flip-flopping that. Well, we're going to put a 1 on the bottom. Okay. But think about it. It's 16. This is what I'm getting at. Like if you tried to find a unit rate, you're going to do 16 divided by 32. And it is 0.5. Well, then what I would think is how many 0.5s are in 12? I'm just sitting here. I'm kind of doing it backwards is my problem. Okay. Let me start over. Question. I want you to think about this. Y'all have all seen these bird feeders that have liquid in them? Like hummingbird feeders that have the red juice in them? Okay. So looking at this. Thinking about that, are we trying to figure out, like, they're saying how many hummingbirds would you expect to be able to feed with a 12-ounce feeder? So we need to get it down to what if it was a 1-ounce feeder? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, what I'm going to do is flip-flop it, okay? So, I'm going to put 32 on top because the ounces is this, 16. So, what if it was a 1-ounce feeder? So, 16 divided by 16 is 1. 32 divided by 16 is 2. And then this side is a 12. 1 times 12 is 12. 2 times 12 is 24. Honestly, I think I just made that a lot harder than I ever needed to. Either way, it is 24 to 12. I just did it backwards the first 2 times.
Where did you get the 2?
Okay, I was thinking that 16 divided by 16 is 1. So 32 divided by 16 is 2.
Oh, that's why I did that.
Yep.
That's how I got 3.
Or you can do like going down. 32 divided by 16 is 2.
So I ended up getting like 32 times 12 because I did it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like on this one, we can't jump straight from a 16 to a 12. So you've got to find a different pattern. I use my multiplication tables and just use 4. But a lot of y'all use unit rate. But if you found you kind of had to flip the numbers over to do the unit rate. Okay, this one. Looking at 19. Okay. On the setup, you should have traveled to to total, you should have 8 to 40. And I know to get to a 240, I'm going to do 6 times 4. So if I do times 6 on this side, and I do times 6 on that side, that makes that 48 my answer. Any questions on that one? Like, I just jumped times 6, but... Okay, on the next one, feet per second. This had a tricker in it that you had to catch. Okay, it was 18 feet in 1 second. And then they asked you, what about 2 minutes? This is the part you had to figure out. 2 minutes is how many seconds? 120 seconds. So I kind of changed it right here, so my brain's going with the right numbers. Okay, so 1 times 120 is 120. 18 times 120 is 2,160 feet. Sometimes they're going to do that, like give you minutes, you got to change it to seconds or whatever.
I did that without having to use I just did 180 seconds counting the amount of time in 2 seconds, and then I multiplied it by 2.
Okay, but you got that answer? That's fine. That is fine. That is fine. You could have done like 60 seconds and then 2 minutes or something. This one was odd. I tried to give a helpful hint last night on the video. Corn to peppers. Now, I will say this. Please look. Some of you aren't looking. Okay, corn to peppers. It is 16 to 18. But what I noticed is some of y'all didn't put the 6 with peppers. 6 had to go on the bottom. Like, had to go with the 18. Okay. Now, 18, I guess you'd say, I did it 2 ways. I'm seeing that a unit rate of 0.8. So if you divide 16 divided by 18, you get that 0.8 repeating. Then I did times 6 and got 5.3 repeating. It isn't pretty, is all I'm saying. It's just they were repeating numbers. It's just not a pretty ratio table or whatever. The last one we should be able to do, I won't lie, cones to feet. When looking at this one, you're trying to get from a 50 to a 45. You want to kind of figure out what should that middle number be. Well, I knew if I made it a 5, I can get there easily. So I divided by 10 times 9, divided by 10 times 9, and my final answer there was 18 cones for 45 feet. Okay? When I graded that last test, I was looking, did you set it up? Did you give me this first fraction, or this first set of numbers correctly? That was 3 points. And then did you give me this fraction right with 3 points? So some of you got a lot of partial credit because you set it up right here, and then you might have had just -3 for this end. It kind of helps your grades. Tomorrow, what worries me is the 9 weeks test is right or wrong answers. Okay? So if you're not getting something, try it again, because each question is over 5 points. There's only 18 questions. So, you could always go back to it at the end if you got one you can't figure out. But I would not just, I think it's A or I think it's B. I would take a second and make sure you got it right. It's 100 points. So, 100 divided by 18, no. I'll do it right. 1 second. 100 divided by 18. Yeah, it's 5.5 points basically per question. 5.5 repeating points. Yes.
Is the mapping workshop included in the test?
No. No. This 9 weeks, we felt like we couldn't fit a math workshop test in. So what we did is we've been collecting them each week and then giving you a grade each week. I think it totaled up to maybe 50 or 60 points for the whole 9 weeks. And then just didn't give a test. They wanted us to, but we just couldn't fit it in because next week we're not allowed to give any extra tests because y'all have 9 weeks tests in other classes, English and reading and all that. So, okay, so last day of review. Look at this thing. Figure it out. I'll be honest. Tomorrow I'll probably collect this one because I want to see if you actually did it. Okay, start right now. I'm going to work on mine. Okay, as much as I can. I started it, but I hadn't finished it. So if you've got questions, we can figure them out. Okay, so this is the last bit of review. Today is what I call mixed up day. Because we know on the 9 weeks test, it can be all mixed up. So, starts out with find the shaded region. Then we have 2 that we're graphing. And find the area on those. Okay, then we got 2 ratio tables. And then on the back, we're doing some of the surface area, some of the area, just general shapes, some more ratios and rates, and then some composite figures or odd shapes, finding those areas. Okay, so I'm going to stop it there in hopes that we're good. Okay.